Welcome everyone to the latest installment of the Collaborative Circle presented to you by the Long Island Collaborative Divorce Professionals. I am joined today by my friend and colleague, Elizabeth Vaz. Liz is both a mediator and collaborative divorce attorney. She is the founder of the Long Island Collaborative Divorce Professionals, and she joins me today as part of our professional spotlight to speak a little bit from a personal perspective about her life and what has brought her to this practice. Liz, good morning. Welcome, and thank you for joining me.
Good morning, Jackie. It's always a pleasure to be with you.
So Liz was brave enough and kind enough to share a really powerful written piece that she has put together. And if you haven't had a chance to read it yet, I would encourage you to read it. It is really extraordinary. And Liz, thank you so much for being so open and honest and sharing your personal story. Liz, I would like you to share with us and talk a little bit about your personal experience as a child of divorce and how that has really led you to this profession.
Well, thank you again, Jackie, for having me and for asking that question, because the truth of the matter is, as professionals, we all bring our personal experiences to what it is that we do. And any child of divorce knows that each child has what they call a divorce story, right? What's my story about how my parents split, how it is that they navigated their conflict, how it is that they co-parented. And the truth of the matter is, sometimes the system sets people up for success, the way we do it with collaborative divorce, with mediation. And then sometimes there's really just a non-supportive way, which really is court. And years ago, when my parents got divorced, the court system really was the only way that it was the only avenue that they had. It was the only way they could get divorced. And the truth of the matter is that was devastating on our family, right? On myself. When my parents started divorcing, I was about 8 years old. My sister was 3 years younger than me. And the impact that that has on young children to see their family sort of torn apart that way is it's really devastating. And, knowing that my mother had to struggle to get support out of my father, knowing that my father was able to just sort of leave town, never come back, never look back. And the relationship was never the same. We saw him from time to time. We spoke to him from time to time. But the truth is, the last time I ever saw him, I was a teenager. And again, it really devastated us, right? Your whole foundation as a child is just ripped out from under you. So knowing that that was my experience and knowing that so many people lived that same experience or even worse, when I went to law school and realized that family law is the avenue that I was going to choose, I knew there had to be a better way. Not all families had to end up like that. So finding the collaborative route and mediation, I knew that it was the right way for families to go forward. And I know a lot of times people talk about how much time and money it'll save you, but how much time and money it can save you, right? It doesn't necessarily always work that way. But the truth of the matter is, it can really preserve your family, right? Families always change and shift, but it doesn't have to destroy you. And that's really the avenue that I come from, right? That's really the perspective that I come from. Please don't destroy your family.
Right. Do you share your personal experiences with your clients when you meet with them?
So it depends on the situation, right? I'm not shy about it. I never try to hide it, right? Who we are as people brings us to a better understanding of why it is that we do what we do. But it depends on how much people want to know, how much people want to hear, right? We only share so much, right? Just as humans and professionals. But the reality is, I think that it brings a different perspective as opposed to me just being a professional. I'm also a person. I'm also a human. I'm also a daughter. I was also a child of divorce. So my perspective, if it can open someone's eyes and enlighten them as to why court is not the place to be, then I'm more than happy to share that information with them. And I'm very open with them about it. And for the most part, I think clients are pretty grateful about that. Again, it depends on, it's the same as everything. It's just a question of how much information somebody wants. And that's how much information I'm going to be sharing with them.
Right. Another aspect of the written piece that you shared with everyone was the financial struggle that this was for your family. And it got me to think that, for many families, I think they would be easily persuaded to take a collaborative route, but they might be afraid that they cannot afford it and that it would be too expensive of a process. So how do you feel about that as a deterrent, as the finances to be a deterrent for people to choose this process?
Yeah, so we hear that a lot, right? As
Mm-hmm.
collaborative professionals, we do have a full team, right? Each party has an attorney. We bring in the financial neutral, we bring in a family support specialist, and we do that at the beginning to sort of form that solid foundation. And a lot of times that's what you hear, the concerns about the money. Oh my gosh, this is going to cost so much money. And the truth of the matter is nothing is free, right? We're not saying that this is not going to cost money, but it's such a different and much more valuable way for you to spend those resources, for you to invest your time and invest your money in a supportive environment that's really going to bolster your family, right? Again, not rip you apart, not destroy you, not leave one party chasing the other party for child support or spousal support or trying to enforce any sale of a house or equitable distribution. You never want to be in a position where you are left after you've now hired an attorney and litigated a case and spent tens of thousands of dollars. Now you have to go back and try to enforce something or go after a spouse because they're not following the agreement. In collaborative, again, nothing is free, but in collaborative, the way everything is structured, the money that you spend is very, very tailored to exactly what you need, right? And it's tailored to educate the parties about what's important, what it is that they're agreeing to, going over the finances with them so they fully understand it, right? I think
Right.
sometimes a lot of our, just in general, right, our conflict with each other is because you can't hear or see the other person's point of view. And
Mm-hmm.
in collaborative, the beauty is, as you know, that we get to open each other's eyes, right? Even as professionals, we do. But certainly as the parties who are sitting there, they get to learn about each other, learn their interests, what it is that frightens them, what it is that their hopes are for the future. And when they see that, and again, that time and energy is spent doing that, then once we come up with that agreement, they're so much more likely to follow it. They're really much more inclined to have that buy-in. And when that time and money is spent, then they don't have to be wasting money in court a year later, 2 years later, 5 years later, fighting it out. So
Point.
yeah, I mean, I would hope that you would agree that really the time and money spent is just a very, very different form of spending money as opposed to
Right.
litigation, and really just money so much better spent.
Yes, that's what I always say. It's money well spent. Money well spent.
I agree.
Liz, I know from being a friend of yours, I know that you're about to embark on an exciting new chapter in your life. If you'd like to talk about that, I think people would be interested to hear.
Sure. So thank you. The beauty of being a professional or being, moving on to different chapters of your life is that you can always hold on to what you have and you can move forward in different ways, right? That maybe you didn't expect, right? But every chapter of our lives teaches us something and helps us grow. And the next chapter doesn't necessarily have to be frightening, right? Again, the same thing with divorce, right? We always try to let our clients know that moving forward with divorce doesn't mean that this is the end of anything, right? It just means that it's a new chapter. It's a different avenue. And so the same thing with me. The Long Island has always been my home. I was raised here. I consider it home. The Long Island Collaborative Divorce Professionals are very near and dear to my heart. I'm 110% dedicated to our mission, to our group, and moving us forward. And the next chapter of my life is going to be taking that same mission and that same passion and moving it with me to Florida. So I will be moving there full time next year, but I will be continuing my practice here in New York. I still have some very strong roots here. I still have my family here. So I will be coming back and forth as often as I can and really taking the Long Island Collaborative Divorce Professionals mission of educating people about the collaborative process, whether it is participants who are interested in finding out about divorce, whether it is professionals finding out about how they can help parties get divorced in a more holistic way, or whether it is really just the larger community to find out how they can help with resources within their community. I want to take that mission that we've started and we've really, really taken off with. We've really rolled with it. I want to take that same mission and take it with me to Florida because we're not so isolated, right? We're not an isolated community anymore. If COVID has taught us anything, it is that via the world of Zoom, via the world of electronic communication, we are really all so much more connected than we realize. So whether it's here, whether it's across the world or in Florida, we really want to be able to push this mission forward and let people know that when it comes to any kind of conflict, especially family conflict, we're here to support you. And we really want to be able to help you no matter where we are.
Right. And I'm sure your experience over the past year or so has given you the confidence to know that you can do this remotely. You can do this practice successfully remotely.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that a lot of it, a lot of this remote working has really helped the clients as well, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes with work and scheduling and children and, you know, having to drop someone off at school and having to rush to work or having to get dinner ready or caring for parents, right? I have an elderly mother that I care for as well. So I get it. I understand the nuances of people's schedules. Being able to have a meeting electronically, say during your lunch break at work. Okay, you don't have to take the time now to commute to my office. We can do this, you know, again on online. Sometimes a conference call via Zoom, and then that would be the same thing, really, whether you're in a different state, you're in a different town. But the truth of the matter is, the beauty of what we do in a collaborative setting is, and what we've always done is to make it work for the family, right? We will tweak it, we will adjust it, we will make it work for your family. And if doing it all electronically is what works best for you, then that's what we're here to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Liz, thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate your time, and I'm glad that people have had a chance to get to know you a bit personally, because I think that will make them feel even more comfortable to reach out to you and ask questions and try to understand this process and see if it's right for them.
Oh, thank you very much, Jackie. And you know, for anyone who's listening or thinking about divorce, whether it is our group, right, the Long Island Collaborative Divorce Professionals, who are, honestly are just the best professionals that I've ever worked with. They're really just, including you, Jackie, of course. We really
Thank you.
are so committed and dedicated to what it is that we do. Whether it is our group, whether it is another professional, we really always highly encourage anyone who's thinking about divorce or separation or any kind of family conflict resolution to reach out and just get more information. Just find out what your options are, right? You can always choose what you want, what works the best for your family, but being educated ahead of time and knowing that information is really what means the most to us. And, you know, we look forward to speaking to anyone out there about how it is that we can help you advance your needs and your, you know, your family's future.